Bum-ba-da-dum! Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I'm Banjo Ben. I'm going to teach you some banjo today. But wait, this isn't a licks lesson. Yes, we're going to learn 5 licks, 5 really hot guitar licks on the banjo fretboard, but that's not the main lesson. The main lesson is actually an ear training lesson. Oh, this is so good, because we're going to learn how to listen to notes played by another instrument and find those exact same notes on our banjo fingerboard, which isn't always easy because banjos tune differently than other instruments. So we have to think about strategy and technique, and are we going to single string it? Are we going to put our thumb over? Are we going to use melodic techniques? That's what we're going to spend our time on today. I can't tell you how many times over the course of my professional career, sometimes on the spot, that I was asked to play in unison with another instrument, to grab a signature lick of a song or a melody and interpret it on my banjo or other instruments. So I invite you to come along on this ear training journey with me. If you're watching here on BanjoBenClark.com as a Gold Pick member, you have everything you need right here on this page. Just scroll down for the rest of the lesson resources. If you're watching somewhere else, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the site. You can join as a Gold Pick member. I have hundreds of lessons on banjo, guitar, and mandolin, and maybe even more. Let's get started. Now, a couple little disclaimers before we get started. One is I've chosen what fingers I like to use for these licks, but some of them are kind of finger twisters. So you may find that you like to use a different finger combination. And it also depends on how fast you're going. Sometimes you can use the same finger twice in a row. The other thing is that you may find other ways to play these licks. And that's the cool thing about it. You can get a lot of these note combinations in different places on the fingerboard. And we'll even talk about that. Let's go ahead and throw up the first line of tab there. And what I'd like to do is just real quickly line up what the banjo lick looks like versus what the exact same guitar lick looks like, so that perhaps if you are a guitar player, you can see where it's located compared to what I'm doing here on the banjo. But let me just use this first lick to point out a couple of important things going forward. You know, this lick starts out hammering from an F to a G note. Now, even those two notes right there, I could get in a variety of places. Okay, so I can find the same two notes on all 4 strings of this banjo. So really, it's up to me now to decide, according to the rest of the lick, what's going to be the best way to approach this. I know that the rest of my notes can easily be found down here in this first position. So I'm going to choose to grab those first notes right here. But of course, the difficulty immediately is to figure out how to get in to the 2nd to 3rd fret. Okay. So we've got to do some quick movements over here. So it's more difficult on the banjo to play this lick than it would be on the guitar. And that should be no surprise to us because it's a guitar lick. But if all we ever try to play on our banjo is just the licks that are easy to play on the banjo, then we're going to be ultimately limited. So we need to expand our horizons here. So as soon as I do that hammer on and come back down to that 3rd fret, I'm going to shift down and I'm going to slide with both of my middle fingers, the middle and the ring finger. And then I'm going to do a quick slide with my index finger down to that 1st fret. Again, you may find a pick hand combination that you like better than what I'm showing you. But slowly it sounds like this. As we'll see going forward, we can even find these notes in different places. And we'll save that for later on, talking about those different positions and how we'll approach that. But this is such an interesting lick. It's very, very common. And again, there's all kinds of little treats inside this lick that we can use in other licks as well. So I may not often play this lick note for note, but very often I'll do things like this. And so I'm getting my fingers around those notes that are so popular on the guitar, particularly bluegrass and blues guitar. So that's why it's important to learn how to play these other licks on the banjo, because what it's going to do is open your mind to what the banjo can possibly do. And I think one of the main techniques that I use for coming up with new licks is to go and transcribe another instrument directly onto the banjo, because it's going to force me to find these notes in a way that I normally wouldn't do it, because it's not comfortable. Let's look at lick at look number 2. Now this lick sounds like this. Okay, so there's a couple different ways that we can approach this lick. We're starting off with these first 3 notes: a C, C sharp, D. I could single string this whole thing. Okay, I could have approached it down here. Or I can use kind of a blend of melodic and pull-offs and incorporate some rolls in there to get it more smooth. And this is where I just want to say that it's helpful to try to discover as many ways as possible to play this. And then you're going to find what's easiest for you to communicate. You might be drawn more toward a single string style or more towards using melodic approach like we're doing here with some hammer-ons. Slowly, this lick sounds like this. Again. I remember when I first transcribed this lick, that pull-off going in from into measure 9 from measure 8, I've got from 6 to 5. Originally when I did this, I jumped down to here. And so I just want you to see, if you haven't already, that this lick right here is the same as this lick right here. Same exact notes, just played in a different way. So originally I used that down there. It would look like this. Nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to show you that we can get those same licks down here. And since I can get it here, that's where we start the lick out. So I can finish the lick without having to move my hand a lot until the very end. Whereas if I didn't, then I'd have to shift in the middle of the lick. And actually, I just find it easier with my right hand to play it up the neck. So I have a slightly different tone playing this. So this is going to have a rounder sound than down here. But often you'll see guys like Noam Pikelny, Matthew Davis, these really, really good melodic and single string players. And you're going to see them not move a whole lot, but get a whole big range of notes. And that's because they understand their positions just like we've learned there. If you're watching somewhere else besides BanjoBenClark.com, I invite you to come over. Let's learn 3 more licks. We're going to get more into the strategy, thinking about melodic, using our thumb over, why would we do that? And then what happens when we can't get the note? When we simply want to play the note that another instrument plays, but it's not physically possible. What do we do there besides call our grandma and cry? Come on over to BanjoBenClark.com.